Hello, I'm Ken Dwelly. I'm the crew chief on this aircraft. Its name is Dreadnought. It's a HAWKER Sea Fury. This one is a dual control aircraft. It has two cockpit positions, pilot and instructor. For the sake of the air races, the rear position will not be occupied at any point during this program. Dreadnought is powered by a Pratt & Whitney R4360, 28 cylinders, 3,800 horsepower. It's got an Aero Products 4-bladed propeller. This aircraft runs on aviation fuel. Up here at the air races, 115, 145 high octane. There's 137 gallons usable in a fuel tank between the cockpit and the engine firewall here. And there's also 34 gallons in a tank right here in the left wing spar. In the event of an engine fire during start, the pilot is likely aware of it. If not, he'll be made aware by the ground crew. What the pilot will do is turn off the fuel and continue to crank the engine to stop the flames which are coming out of here from propagating. In the event that the flames do propagate, there is a space here for the firefighter to be able to provide an access point for the fire suppressant to get to the carburetor and the accessories back at the back end of the engine. These are the exhaust pipes, and this area will get you into the exhaust pipe area. There's really nothing flammable inside here. On the front of the aircraft, we have an oil cooler inlet. There's an identical one on the right side of the aircraft. It's unlikely that you would see any fire in this place. The aircraft does also carry water, which comes through this spray bar. It's used to cool the oil in flight. There's an additional tank which has a water methanol mix, which is used to prevent detonation in the engine. Non-flammable, probably not applicable to this conversation. There is a way to access the front of the engine through the cowling here. This is to provide cooling air to the air-cooled cylinders. It's unlikely that you would find fire in this area. This is a HAWKER Sea Fury dual control, two-cockpit aircraft. You will notice that the canopy jettison system is not here, as it is on the single-seat Sea Fury. On the dual control Sea Fury, it's on the right side. Here we are on the right side of Race 8 Dreadnought. This is a plexiglass plate. You see the rescue arrow, and this provides access, once you break this plexiglass, to this stainless steel cable with a ring in it. There's only one ring in here because there's only one canopy release mechanism. This controls the front cockpit. So if you were to break this plexiglass, pull that ring, it would release a spring device which pulls stainless steel cables, rotates bell cranks, and releases the canopy rails. And in this case, it's this small canopy that you see up here. It will go bang, the canopy rails will jump up, and the first responders will be able to lift that canopy right off the aircraft. There are no pyrotechnics in this system. It's purely a mechanical system. Here we are in the cockpit of Dreadnought. I'm going to show you how the pilot closes the canopy. You'll see that once this canopy is closed, there's a pin which locks it into place. If this pin is locked into place, as it will be when the aircraft is flying, there is no way to open the canopy from the outside unless you pull the jettison toggle that we showed you on the outside. This is a handle that the pilot can use to operate the same system to jettison the canopy in the event of a bailout. Good. Once the canopy has been removed from the aircraft, the first responder can pull this rectangular panel out. It is released when this canopy rail is released, and it falls away, provides much better access to the pilot. You'll need to disconnect the pilot's seat belt. In this aircraft, you see the blue hub with the orange lanyard, and if you pull this orange lanyard, the seat belts will release. At this point, you can move the seat belts out of the way, grab the pilot by the parachute harness, and lift him up and out of the aircraft. It's a seat pack harness, and the pilot is sitting on the parachute. One other thing to show you inside the cockpit is that when the aircraft is on the ground and the pilot is perhaps incapacitated, you will likely find the fuel system in the on position, and this is a main fuel shutoff. You'll rotate it counterclockwise to the OFF position that stops fuel at the firewall. If you take this switch here, master switch, and bring that aft, it will turn off all electrics, including the boost pump. This aircraft is no different than many of these large tail dragger airplanes. In the event the aircraft overruns the runway or goes off the side into soft dirt, it's possible that the aircraft could end up upside down on its back. This aircraft does have an overturn structure, which is what the pilot's headrest is attached to, which should protect the pilot. In the event that overturned structure gets buried in the soft sand, you'll see that the canopy is pushed up against the pilot. There have been accidents where the pilot is upside down in the aircraft and pushed down like this, and the pilot is compressed and unable to breathe in that situation. The need of the moment to save the pilot's life is to get the tail of the airplane up in the air so that the responders can get in and straighten out the pilot so that he's able to breathe. The quickest way to get the tail up in the air is to put 8 or 10 people split between each side of this horizontal stabilizer, which will be upside down, and they'll just get underneath this thing and lift like that. It weighs about 800 pounds, which is not a lot of weight between 8 or 10 motivated guys. If you lift that up and then drive a truck underneath the aircraft and set the aircraft down on the truck, that way you've got access to do that. The need of the moment is to get, the pilot only has a couple of minutes before he can't breathe and he's suffocated.